Really. Hello to the world. Hello, everybody. My name is Torrin Joshua, and you are currently tuned into Common Sense Live. If you haven't noticed already, I'm not Mike, and that's not Afshan. Today we're trying something new. We're diversifying the faces and stuff like that. So I thought I'd give it a go. I'm usually the guy behind the screen that's putting on pop-ups and stuff like that. But today we got some interesting stories to talk to you about. Siobhan, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Siobhan Starling, hailing all the way from the US of A. I'm a journalist with the Common Sense Network, and I'm just happy to be here hosting with you.
Yeah, so if you guys tuned in last week to where we live streamed the inauguration, Siobhan was there. We had a input the whole time, and it's good to have that American perspective. You know, just me personally, on a selfish level, I love just hearing the accent, so I'm gonna have a great time.
And honestly, it's the same way. It's the same way from my point of view. So it's like, oh my God. And I'm not the typical American that tries to do the British accent because I already know I suck at it.
Usually want to give it a go for everyone right now.
No, we're not going. I'm not going to embarrass myself. So yeah, I'm staying in my lane.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys, hopefully you tuned into episodes before. Common Sense Live is basically the show where we kind of, talk about different topics that's been interested in the news this week. We do a different type of stuff. We do cultural affairs, whether it's politics, cultural stuff, just in general, just stuff going on in the media at the moment. So today we got some interesting stories for you. The first one, I know it's typical stuff that you're probably hearing all the time now, but we wanted to go to coronavirus and the stuff going on here in the UK. For those that don't know, it's a mess right now. We have no idea what's really going on. There's talks about lockdown being extended until April, June, September. Nobody knows. But one of the most important things that we've kind of seen in the news recently is that the government are going to start charging UK travelers £1,000 to self-isolate in hotels. Yeah. What do you think about that, Siobhan?
What?
Obviously, the reason it'll be good for you is because obviously you're in the US, so there's completely different circumstances. So what's going on there for you guys?
I'm sorry. That's just mind-boggling to me. Oh my God, 1,000 freaking pounds. Okay. Anyway, so I guess it's in the US. It's a little bit. They're not charging us £1,000 now to self-isolate, but it's a little bit of limbo. Like right now, since we have a new president, he's implementing mandatory mask,
Right.
wearing of the mask and everything like that. Now let's see how many people listen to those mandatory guidelines, because it's just been a mess. And they're allowing the states to take over, and more specifically, they're making the counties and the towns be the enforcer of everything.
Right. Yeah, I think that's similar here-ish.
So right now, while you may go to another state or another town that enforces the mask, where I'm at is Springfield, Illinois right now, you could go to the restaurants. You can go in, and while I know they shut it down for a month or so when the numbers started to rise, it's like nothing changed. And my whole thing is, okay, I get it. I understand that wearing a mask and all of these things is kind of not. You don't want to do it, because me personally, I hop out my car all the time, and I'm like, oh, I got my keys, I got my cell phone, I got my wallet. Crap, I forgot my mask.
It's just on the list of things that you need now, isn't it?
Right, it's a part of the list. And now I never thought that I'll be looking on Amazon for fancy mask or whatever, fashionable face mask. but here we are. So it's a little bit of limbo because while we're kind of like, what are the vaccines going to do? They're putting the kids back in school. Right now, we just really don't know. What is Joe Biden going to implement?
Yeah.
So right now, they're trying to sell people currently on taking the vaccine. I know I read one article where they're paying people $800 for to take the vaccine. But that's vaccines and all that stuff. That is a different story for a different day. Right now, we're just trying anything and hoping that it sticks.
Yeah, see, that's very interesting. Obviously now and then, a lot of the media that I look at is more American based, anyway. So just hearing it from someone that's actually living there and not like a celebrity and stuff, and it's so interesting compared to what's going on here right now. You know, it's one of them things where it just one thing in general is just the fact that in the UK, in terms of vaccines, we have a couple vaccines that have come in and stuff. And I think I saw a statistic that 73% of 70 to 80-year-olds have now been vaccinated and stuff. So it's interesting to see that Americans are more happy to persuade, but here it's seen more as we're being forced to take it to some degree or another. And I know there's an actual what's the word? An article on the Common Sense Network for you guys to check out, which is about the coercion or whether it's our opinion to take the vaccine and stuff. So go check that out if you have the chance. But yeah, I just think right now one of the biggest things on my mind in terms of coronavirus and everything going forward is how long can we stay in lockdown? How long are they going to do this to us? Just Boris Johnson in general, obviously here in the UK, he's already taken credit and said, you know, the government made a mistake a long time ago by just messing us about. And now we're just here. He's now saying we're going to be in here for nearly half of 2021. People's brains are just deteriorating. What are we going to do? What's the next steps?
And I guess I have a question. So when crap hit the fan, because I've tried to be politically correct. I'm like, when crap hit the fan, I just really want to know I can only go off of our government, but I just want to know what the hell did people do? Because I know that for some, it's never going to go back to where it was unless we come up with a like an antibiotic or a solution or a cure to the coronavirus. And honestly, vaccines are all good, but you have to come up to a thing where there's a cure for it. Because personally, it's going to be like the flu and the common cold. It's here to stay. And I guess my whole thing is, what are you all coming with a cure? Because vaccines are great. Not everybody's going to take them. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people that barely takes the flu shot. So I'm not really all those great with needles. I don't necessarily like it. I just can't, especially when I have to wear a mask anyway. The vaccine doesn't prevent it. It's just a safety measure. So if I have to wear a mask anyway, why do I have to wear it? And I guess really looking at it, I agree with you. It's a little too late. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Because we can't just live in a lockdown forever. Because I hate to be that American, but what about the economy? What about our life? Like I said, and more like to the common day person, what about your day to day? Because people need to work, people need livelihoods. What are we going to do with that? So how are we going to implement a new normal? Because you're right, you can't live in lockdown forever.
Yeah, it's true. We have a question here from La Janus. He says, are you able to mix households in the US?
Able to mix households in the US, meaning I don't want to be like, what? Meaning we can have more households in.
So one of the rules here is like, say me and one of my friends, we can't be in the same house if we're not in the same house, basically. So are you able to go over to someone's house and be in that vicinity?
Child, those enforcements don't stop us.
Really?
If you haven't noticed on TikToks and everything like that, they have whole house parties. I'm just like, oh yeah. And I hate to say it, my son's birthday party, I'm horrible. I know. My son's birthday was 2 or 3 days ago, and we had a birthday party for him. And it's not really a birthday party. It was more like my partner's parents and my mom together in a house, and then a few of my sorority sisters. So yes, we can come in. How would they know? There's no way to enforce that here in the US. I don't know how they're doing it in the UK, but how are they enforcing that? Like, are they? And I know you all have like Big Brother, so I don't know. It's so much different than it is here.
Nice. That's really interesting. One of the questions I'm going to bring in Afshan to talk about it too, but I want to actually ask you, okay, so since this pandemic is still going on and the UK and US have such high death counts, is it fair to now blame the government when obviously civilians, not necessarily saying you, but people like that are mixing households and having these sort of parties and stuff? So I'm bringing Afshan to kind of say her thoughts on it too.
Hey.
Hello, and this is Afshan.
Hey, yeah. So just on the whole, like, are we allowed to blame our government? Of course we are, because the reason that we're doing what we're doing right now and breaking laws and are really uncertain about whether we can travel, whether we can go to Dubai or not, it's all because of the government anyway. So we had a clearer government that, you know, back in March last year, had kind of went, okay, we're going to close the borders now. We're going to close all the schools and shut them down completely. We're going to actually tell you to wear masks. We're going to implement all the policies and rules. And instead of opening back up in July and giving everyone 50% off to, you know, save the restaurants because the government couldn't be bothered to furlough them anymore, instead of doing that, if the government here, and I don't know how it was in the US, had actually taken and done something about it, you know, if Donald Trump had gone around wearing a mask, people wouldn't be out there flaunting the rules.
Yeah,
and that's the issue. So yeah, we damn right can blame our government for the mess we're in right now. But I'm also knowing that, okay, maybe I've broken a couple of rules by doing X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, like, I had no other option because I don't actually know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. Right? There's a new lockdown. The lockdown now has been extended till March 8th here in the UK.
Yeah. Is that the official date now?
Yeah, it was announced today. But it's like, as in, like, schools will reopen after the 8th. So the earliest that they'll open is the 8th of March, which, you know, they were going to try and open on the 14th or 15th. They were going to have a discussion about that. But the fact that they are postponing it till the 8th doesn't bode well, right? Because that's literally, it's like almost a year.
Yeah.
You know, we went into lockdown, what, the 16th of March last year?
Yeah, we're going to have a year's anniversary soon.
Lockdown party, guys.
Happy Corona. Nah, it's true. Yeah, I think even the last time I was on the YouTube channel was with Mike on his podcast about, you know, Let's Talk Common Sense, guys. Check that out. And we were talking about these COVID restrictions and whether they're clear and all these sort of things. And just this idea of, is it fair for us to judge the government? And you're saying that it is fair just because it's been so clear, lacks clarity and stuff like that. But I think my perspective is a bit mixed, to be honest, because just purely from being in the student area and stuff, I'm seeing people having parties, and I'm not going to lie and say I haven't had a few or two, like one or two gatherings and stuff like that. But as you said, at what point are we just going to allow this to keep going on without our brains deteriorating and just our mental health just going down? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know how it is for yourself, but like, I live alone.
Mm-hmm.
I've been alone since September. My housemate moved out. So sitting with your own brain for a long period of time is really hard, right? And then not knowing, like, the constant anxiety of, like, if I go to Aldi today and then go visit my mum the next day because I've created a bubble with them, will I then, you know, be that kind of like anxiety of like, okay, am I then going to be transferring coronavirus to them? And that is that anxiety, that kind of like constant, am I allowed to do this or am I not allowed to do this? And that kind of being performative because we're on the screen all the time now in front of Zoom meetings, in front of stuff like this. It was really hard for us to sort of separate ourselves and kind of have that and know who we are again. And I'll, you know, I feel really sorry for like people that have had kids and babies that have been born in this year, because the only outing that you will have had, if you've had any, has been with people with masks on. So your understanding of facial expressions is going to be like completely diminished. The only people you're really seeing are your parents and, you know, other family members in the house. So I don't know, man. It's rough. It's really rough.
I've heard this thing where people are saying they're trying to learn how to smile with the eyes now.
And to go back to what you were saying about like having babies and stuff like that, and honestly, I live with somebody in the house and I have a child, and it was like, ooh, at least I have a day or two to myself while people go off to work and he goes to grandma and grandpa's. Now they're all in the house with me. Today is an exception, but I said it's something else. And while my son wasn't born in the heart of the pandemic, where we only had one other person, so we only had to have one person, which is mom and dad, in the hospital room. But just thinking, like, a month after he was like born, it was like, bam, coronavirus pandemic, and not having all those like gatherings. Like, we had to deal with Zoom for his first birthday. So it's weird, and it's just like, how much longer are we dealing with this? Because also too, you have to think about the mental effects that places on you too.
Yeah, it's really true. I think, at this point we could talk about all the things that are kind of going on, and as we mentioned, we are coming up to the year anniversary. So really and truly, we're only really gonna keep getting used to it, or it's just gonna end up worse, and only time will really tell after we come out of this lockdown, hopefully. But in lighter news, in a good, trying to segue this in a smart way, but I have no clue how to. But just for this next topic, something interesting that I found was, I want to talk about TikTok. Okay, I know that's a big thing over in the US as well, especially you guys. But it's actually an interesting topic in the fact that a girl her life was basically saved from her followers. So what had happened is, I'll break down the story. A woman went outside and she went to put her bins out, and there was some graffiti that was written on her bin in the snow, and it was the number 1 and the letter F. So she pulled out her phone, went to TikTok, and decided to ask her people what was going on. And long story short, in the comments, what she realized was that people were saying that it's actually some gang signs to alert people that are walking down the street in other gangs who's in the house. So it stood for a 1 female, and we found that it led to like rapes and kidnaps and all these sort of things. Yet, since she was able to do that on TikTok and it reached out into the world, she was able to get the police involved, and basically it was able to get herself protected and her life saved. What do you sort of think about that?
I think that, that is an amazing story. I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to like social media and stuff like that, because I can also see people, while I think social media is a great thing, while I think that the internet and all of that is a great thing, I also see like the downsides of it too. People of our generation and young people generations act stupid as F when it comes to social media aspects. So it's really enlightening and really like eye-opening when people can use it for good, and that her life was saved from that. Because a lot of times you have people who act stupid on social media and also have a crime on social media because they incriminate themselves for social media. So it's really cool that she was able to get her life saved and really like get that help, that SOS help from it as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm in 2 minds about it also, just purely based on the fact that I totally agree with the fact that social media is running people's lives at the moment, especially as you said with lockdown and stuff like that. But also it's just this idea that I personally am going through a social media detox just for the month, just to kind of start this year off right and really get in my own space and my own mind and stuff like that. And what stood out to me the most is the fact that for help, she went to social media instead of asking people that she knew or talking to friends or stuff like that. Like, why was her first instinct to go to social media, like a platform like TikTok? Do you know what I mean? I didn't get that. I think, firstly, whether that's a good thing, the fact that we now have this interconnected community, or the fact that, you know what I mean? It's just, I just have no idea.
And that's the thing. Like, people go to social media for also their news, no matter how true or fake that may be. People go to, that's your first line of news instead of like going on the TV or looking on a newspaper, which is extinct. But it's so amazing how the evolution of, you know, I guess globalization, I guess that's the right terminology for it, how
Yeah.
everything has evolved from back when our parents were growing up to us to probably our children. And I still remember or reflect on the days when we had dial-up internet.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That obviously I wasn't involved in that era of time. So what, like, how do you feel about this improvement and the speed that we're developing in terms of technology and stuff like that?
It's a blessing and a curse, because in the same time you could connect to people with, like, probably 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't even think that I would be a part of a network in the UK.
Yeah.
Never would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
thought about it. Never would have, like, said, I'm able to connect with you on it, like I said, on that global level. And I
Mhm.
found out about common sense through, like, social media. So I think
Yeah.
that it's amazing when connecting with people, trying to pursue and progress your own personal goals. But at the same time, it's like, and I think a lot of times, especially going back, trying to move on, but in this pandemic and the times that we are in, it kind of also plays on your mental, because a lot of
Mhm.
times now we're trying to compete. While I know people are like saying, oh, I'm competing with myself, or I'm happy for people's successes. Now we're looking at people and it's like, oh my God, I got married. Oh my God, I got my dream job. Oh my God, I did
Mhm.
this.
Comparison.
And yeah, and although we're these type of people, it's common to feel like, dang, am I doing anything with my life? So I think it's
Mhm.
twofold, where now
Yeah.
we're connected through a screen instead of face to face.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. You know, speaking of social media, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our Instagram and Twitter. No matter how you feel about social media, you know, we're a platform here to give you the news and stuff like that. So go check that out. But at TCX Network, by the way. But yeah, it's so complicated because especially me being around like obviously all these students and stuff like that and people my age, I go around and I see a lot of people that are just indulged in it. And I think for me, I'm really trying to pull myself away from that, just because, again, that idea of comparison and me feeling like my life is not going at a particular pace that it needs to be going at. And I need to speed up and do certain things or rush my process and stuff like that. And I think being in a place where our mental health is already feeling quite low, it's like being surrounded by toxic social media. How can that really impact me and push me forward? And I think there's this great podcast again that Mike did this week with Manny Ade, who's like a social media influencer, and just this idea of, you know, not letting social media affect your life. Do you know what I mean? And really change who it is you are and stopping yourself. I think personally, one thing that I would just recommend in that sense is giving yourself the time to disconnect, as much as it does lead to these great situations, great stories like the ones that we just said with this woman. Again, it's just the idea of it's still not real. Do you know what I mean? It's not the real society that we actually live in at the moment. And hopefully this pandemic and stuff brings us back away from that, and we start getting back into face-to-face interaction and stuff like that. We have a question here, which is quite interesting. It says, in a pandemic, how is being anti-social media going? Okay, this isn't real, right? It says, in a pandemic, how is us being anti-social going to basically help us with social media? That makes sense.
It does. So I guess, I mean, it's twofold, because everything now is in front of a screen, and like how you connect with people now is in front of a screen. But at the same time, disconnecting from the outside world, no matter how you really want to be involved, because I have, especially within the last 3 months, especially, I
Mm-hmm.
have slowed back. I've had to take literal breaks from the news. I had to take breaks from Facebook. And while this is a double edged, like I said, this is a double edged sword, I had to turn off my notifications. I just had to. And I think also too for me, and I can only speak for me, it has given me like a break, or like a recharge, something like that. Because now I like to say I'm an extrovert introvert. Meaning I love people, I love talking, I love being out there, but sometimes I need to recharge. And how I used to do it was, I guess, isolate. Like instead of going to being all little Miss Social Butterfly, isolate. Now I have to turn off my notifications, and it sucks because when members of the team's like, "Hey, check out our turn on your notifications," I'm like, "Snap! I did turn my notifications off. Let me turn those back on." So I know for me, it helps me to recharge.
Yeah. No, it's definitely true. And I think again, not to discount that is happening on social media, and the change that it's making on the world and stuff like that. And I think again, use it how you want at the end of the day. But again, it's that idea of balance and protecting your own mental health and stuff like that. I thought it'd be good to segue into a section where, since we aren't the usual host, it'll be good to actually just talk about what it is that we do for the network as our individual roles. So, as we mentioned, Siobhan, you are in the US and you connected to the Common Sense Network and stuff like that. So I think it'll be good if you just kind of talk about what it is you do, some of the stuff that you've done for the, network, and why it is that you're here. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you passionate about being part of the team and stuff like that?
So I came across Common Sense through, I was doing a podcast at the time called Civil Diligence, basically talking about politics and the everyday millennial. And somebody DM'd me saying that, hey, you should take a look at this, Georgia. And she was like, hey, you should take a look at this and connect. And then I got connected to Ashton, and I have been hooked ever since. She asked me to, write an article. And I wrote an article about the investigation with Trump and Russia, because that was a big thing at the time. And ever since then, it gave me a point to give my point of view, my outlook on things, and I just have been stuck now, and it's been going on 2 years now, and I'm a journalist, but an American correspondent, and my focus is American politics and cultural views on Black empowerment too. So that's how I came on board.
So what do you think are
you, Torrin?
For me, so for those that don't know, I have been part of the team for about coming up on a year now, in about 2 months. I've started to come into and starting to work on. I'm looking this show itself. This is something that I'm a part of, and I'm trying something new and hosting today. Hopefully, I'm doing well. Guys, comment, let us know how you're feeling and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for me, I started out just doing video production on the side, stuff like that, and I thought, you know what? I got messaged by someone that I knew, and they said, "Hey, we got this position on the team. We think it'd be good if you come." And at first, I didn't really care about news. I didn't really care about politics or anything like that. But being a part of this organization and this team and stuff like that has kind of made me have to be. And it's really opened my eyes out to this idea of these different viewpoints. Like I wasn't that aware of it before, and the different sides to arguments and stuff like that. And the fact that there's a way to portray an argument or portray having an agenda and stuff like that. And, working out how I can be impartial, because that is what we come here to do, and it's kind of getting rid of those echo chambers and really actually identifying as an unbiased standpoint, and really working out how I can do that as first a creative person, but then also just a general citizen as well, just having more conversations, opening up to topics and stuff like that. And I think it's been an interesting journey and stuff like that. So that's me. I'm curious to see what's the impact that you really are trying to make. Yeah.
My impact is just getting, a voice, a different perspective about America, and basically Black America. We're all different in our own kind of way. I wanted to be like not your non-typical American and get outside of the American bubble, meaning that we only care about the world that's in the borders of the USA and really just be focused on outside foreign politics and just working with different people and having a voice for people of millennials and just getting them involved, because I know too many times, especially in Black America, that we don't focus on politics. I think these past 4 years you've seen a reverse evolution of how many people, young people in general, but Black people having more of a voice to be vocal about politics, the everyday that affects them. And I really just want to push for that and be an advocate for that as well. Have that conversation. So.
Yeah, no, that's just it. And I think as well, as a young Black man from the UK, I think it's pretty interesting in that again, you not being interested in politics and stuff like that, the necessity of it in firstly America and the UK is a good thing. So again, that's why I'm glad that I get to be a part of this team and stuff like that and work towards it. So guys, if you haven't already, go and check out the Common Sense Network, firstly on Instagram and all these sort of things. Get to know us, get to know what it is that we talk about, and just join the conversation. Let your voice be heard. Let your side of the story be told. We're not picking sides here. We just want to talk. Do you know what I mean? And just have that put out. So here at the bottom, you can see the link and stuff like that. Join that, and yeah, let's just get connected. So we're gonna do one more story today, which I think is just it had me creasing, and it was completely jokes. So obviously last week was the inauguration and stuff like that, and I thought it'd be good to show you guys and talk about this whole new Bernie Sanders meme. I don't know whether you guys have seen it or not. I don't know whether you guys have been a part of making some, but they had me dying. There was some ones of Bernie Sanders giving people headlocks, Bernie Sanders in movies and stuff like that. And to me, I was just thinking, how are people talented enough to even create them?
I know. And like I said, memes period from last week were just top notch. They were better. They were better than 4 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, yes. And I'm just like, I saw one Bernie Sanders meme. I don't know, like the Janet Jackson cover, well, I think on her Janet album. And you know how she was up here and she was topless with the cover, and it just had Bernie Sanders like covering her, and I was about to fall out. Okay?
Yeah. It's so true.
Oh my God.
You've got so creative with it, and I have no idea how they were able to do it and stuff like that. I thought it would just be nice to have some lighthearted, just kind of visuals of what's sort of going on in the world. I think again, why are people obsessed with this meme? That's the question.
Because people love Bernie, whether or not you agree with his policies or not. Bernie is a class act in and of himself, and I just really think that while he was not my first choice, but I do appreciate him as a human being and all of this, because these are creative, very creative. Like, it's so amazing how creative it is, and to know that he's making a profit to give back off of these memes, I think is wonderful. So I just like, yeah, people are going crazy because one, they're creatively done. I would have never thought of that. And then two, just the type of guy he is. Because honestly, when we first saw him at graduation, he was unbothered, okay? And he had things to do. And it showed how unbothered he was in these memes.
Yeah. I think an interesting question is, do you think that people have, sort of forgotten about Trump? Where was his energy in memeing Trump and stuff like that? We're not really seeing any good Trump memes, anything like that, but instead we're seeing it with Bernie Sanders. Like, why do you think that he's been the culprit of this?
People are trying to go back to normal the best way that they can. They're trying to cope the last 4 years, okay? So, and I'm still seeing like a little bit of Trump memes about his impeachment. But I think people are really trying to go back to normal. And again, most people of millennials and the younger generation, Generation Z, love Bernie.
Yeah.
So why not put him on the face of it?
Yeah.
Especially giving the last 4 years. Hate it, love it, or not. It's just been rough.
I love it. I just love the meme culture.
How do you like the memes, Torrin?
I just love it as a creator myself. Just the fact that people are spending time doing this, going out of their way to just have some enjoyment is just something that I can't be mad about. Do you know what I mean? It's making me laugh. It's making me have a good time and stuff like that. So I want to see some more, guys. Let me know. Comment any of your funniest ones that you've seen. Let us know, man. I want to laugh. I love laughing. On top of that, just to keep it again light-hearted, before we sort of wrap this up, I know you said you have a meeting over there in the US, Siobhan. So we're quickly going to play a game that we like to play on this show called Change My Mind. So for those of you that don't know, Change My Mind is basically a game where a statement will pop up, and whoever's the person that has to change their mind will have to go against and argue devil's advocate and basically have to change the other person's mind. If they are successful, they don't win anything, but they did it and it was a good game. So yeah, we're gonna give it a go. So Siobhan, do you want to go first or should I try and change your mind? Oh, I think Siobhan has cut out. I guess it's just me here.
I'm not Siobhan, but I have builders in the background, so I'm going to be very noisy. So maybe I time you and you can try and change my mind, Torrin.
Okay.
That might be better. So we're going to use the same one. So you've got to change my mind. People who don't make their beds in the morning are more likely to not be successful. Change my mind, Torrin.
Okay.
And your time starts now.
Okay. Listen, I know that these tasks seem so menial and not important, but that's the point. I think the attention to details and dotting your I's and crossing your T's is what really makes the biggest impact in life. It's not these big tasks. Elon Musk, I don't think he makes his bed. You know why? Because he has someone to pay. He's paid to make his bed because he's so successful. He doesn't need to do it. But for you and I that are not there yet, we have to go about these tasks. We have to have that discipline. We have to have that process. And again, it's just that habit and building that, which is going to get us to a place to where it's second nature to do these little things so that when we pay attention to the details and the bigger projects, when it comes to running a company, when it comes to just even having a fitness goal, it's as small as thinking about counting your macros and counting your micros and all these sort of things. But, just having that process and this is harder than I thought. Having that process of getting used to it and building that, I think that's
time. That was a minute.
So hard.
What do people think? Send us comments. Tell us whether you thought Torrin did a great job or a bad job. Do you agree with that?
I do actually. To a certain degree, I think it is actually due to the fact of if you actually focus and bring that habit of paying attention to detail, I think it really does make a difference in the long run. I don't think it actually makes you successful or not, but I think it does point in the direction of, I think people will look at people who do that differently, just in the sense of, oh, that person's got his stuff together. Do you know what I mean? And I think it resonates in your general life and stuff like that.
I don't make my bed every day in the morning, and I'm just waiting for somebody else to do it for me. I think they keep missing the text because my bed is unmade. I make it before I get into it though. So like at night, as I'm about to get in, before I get into it, I make it and then I get into it.
Something tells me you're doing it wrong.
No, because it's nice to get into a freshly made bed. I'm just always running late, so I never have time to make my bed before I move on to my meetings and have a shower and whatnot. So I have a shower first and then go on to meetings. So yeah, it's always just there. And then I'm like, when I get in, I'm like, I want the bed to be, because I've got my duvet and then I've got a weighted blanket on top. And then an immigrant blanket. I don't know how else to explain that, but a really thick, woolly thing. So yeah, they all get bundled up. So when you want to get into bed, you want them all nice and straight. So you do your bed up just as you go in.
So when you wake up, do you wake up in a made bed?
Well, no, the bed is not made because I've slept in it.
Oh, right. I mean, yeah, guys, let us know how weird Afshan is, because I'm telling you now, that's not normal.
I don't have time in the morning. I'm waking up already at like 5 o'clock. Like I don't have energy and time to kind of go, oh, now I have to do my bed as well. And you know, I feel like I'm really creative. My output is low. So
I guess literally whatever helps you sleep at night.
literally.
I think Siobhan has joined us back, so we'll give her a chance to try it again with statement 2. Siobhan, are you here? Hello. So did you see that? Did you see how that game was played?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
I'm gonna give
I did.
I'm gonna give you a statement, and you have 1 minute to try and change my mind. Yeah. So I think this one's actually gonna be quite a hard one for you, for some reason or another.
Oh, thanks.
So the statement is, let me just post it up. Michael Jackson will always be the king of pop. Change my mind.
He will always be the king of pop because name another artist.
No. So you have to explain why he won't be. You have to change my mind.
Oh, what is this? Okay. He would not be the king of pop because now, like I said, with the evolution of like artists and how many things people will go into, like you have Beyonce's like the queen, and I feel like that she will always be able to she'll be able to top him, like I said, with the amount of hits that she'll make, with the amount of awards that she'll get. She's already one of the top legendary artists of her time, and I just think that she probably will surpass Michael Jackson with her influence. She doesn't have any scandals, and I just really think that she'll be able to just go ahead and reach the ceiling. She has I want to say she has 10 or 15 number ones, and I just really think the sky is the limit with her. And I think that other artists,
Time.
Thank you, God. I love that, Jesus. You know what?
You tried. You really tried. You really did.
I tried. I really tried. I really, really tried, because I'm not even a Beyonce fan like that. I just want everybody to know I am not part of the Beehive, but I knew that she's one of the top artists of her day. So
you started arguing why Jackson wouldn't be the king of pop because Beyonce is the queen of pop. I was just like,
he was just the top person that came into my mind. Whatever.
You didn't have a queen about a king,
I was like, hey, what are labels in today's society?
Oh yeah. Nah, that was jokes. Nah, guys, comment down below, Jackson or Beyonce. That's the new thing going now. That's the shit one. Let us know. But yeah, that's basically it for today's episode. You know, obviously Siobhan will let you go because you got a meeting and stuff like that. But let us know what you thought. Let us know how you felt about the topics that we brought up. COVID as usual, and also just stuff like social media and TikTok. Let us know. But do not forget, we got a comment here saying, "Careful, the Beehive will come."
Yes. Okay.
It's true.
You do not disrespect their queen.
Nah, but definitely make sure to stay tuned for our articles. Join at join.tcsnetwork.co.uk. And yeah, just get involved. Let us know what you're thinking. Any articles that you want us to write about, any videos that you want us to start coming. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at TCS Network, and as well all our Instagram and Twitter as well. Get involved in the conversation. Let us know what you're thinking, and yeah, just start talking more. Get rid of these echo chambers and them things there. Any last words, Siobhan?
Right. Just to echo what Torrin said, thank you all for tuning in. Please check out the website and just look at the stories. Please, if you have any ideas that you want to hear about, debate with us about, we are open. Yeah. I love to speak. If I don't know it, I definitely will look it up and Google and all the stuff like that. I'm great. Awesome. So, and we have other a beautiful journalist and more vocal journalists too. So please, please, please holler at the kids.
Holler at the kids.
Yes.
And we want some more Bernie Sanders memes too, so send us our way. But yeah, we'll see you at the same place and the same time next week. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and thank you for joining us. Peace.
Bye.